IG. Hi. Good afternoon, Facebook. Good afternoon, IG. How are you guys doing out there today? How is everybody doing? I know the lighting is really not that great. Hi, Took. Lighting is not that great today. It's a little overcast here in LA. Normally we have this very bright sun and it'd be nice and warm. But for some reason today it's a little overcast. But anyway, we're thankful for each day. And of course, whether it's overcast. Hey Dale, how are you? All right, you guys. Everybody jump on here, share this video, get your friends on. This is going to be a very exciting day. Once again, we're back with some more valid information for you guys. So this is going to be fun. It's question and answers. So get your questions ready so we can get them all answered today. All right. Haley Smith. So you guys click like and share this video so everybody can get on and get some of this valid information here today. We have to share from PROBY'S Tax and Accounting. This is going to be fun. I'm excited. All right. So, hi Cognac. Thanks for jumping on. So you guys, I'm back again. Once again, we get some more people on here because I don't want anybody to really miss this. Very, very important info for your business, you guys. So I wanted to make sure you guys click like and share. Hi Tash, click like and share the video, get everybody in. Come on in, you guys, let's do this. All right. So hello everyone. Once again, this is Elaine Proby from PROBY'S Tax and Accounting, and we are here in Los Angeles, you guys. I would operate a financial service, taxes, accounting, payroll, business consultation right here in Los Angeles for over 35 years, okay? And pretty soon we'll be working on giving you guys some of the secret of staying in business and how, you know, I happen to do it for over 35 years. So we'll be revealing some of those secrets as we go along, all right? So, but anyway, so today I wanted to make sure that you guys stay in business for now. And so I want to give y'all some tips on how to do that. So I think we've got some people on here. Okay, so this looks great. I'm a little excited I'm very excited, I should say, because I've gotten a lot of questions on some of the stuff that we've been talking about for the last few weeks, right? So which tells me that we're on the right track. I've had calls this week. People are asking me about the same things we discussed, about how they pay themselves from their business. You know, so a lot of the things that we talk about on here, it's been getting across, and it's actually information that people really need. So I've been getting a lot of calls on the stuff we discussed. So this is really super. So anyway, so today we want to talk about when you start your business, some of the main expenses, some of the expenses that you really have to focus on and make sure that you budget for it so that you can really handle your cash flow on the onset of operating your business, okay? So that's what we want to touch on today. So we'll talk about those expenses, we'll talk about some recurring stuff, and we'll talk about, you know, how to and why you need to pay attention and how to track those expenses so that you stay on point with them. And then, of course, you don't find yourself in some financial stress right off the top, okay? And then if you're already operating your business, of course, you want to make sure that you stay on top of all this stuff so you really don't lose sight of where the cash is and then end up with a horrible cash flow problem. All right. Hi, Charles. How you doing? Thanks for jumping on. All right. Great day. Okay, guys. So let's start with this, right? A lot of times when you start your business, of course, a lot of people started in maybe at home, depending on how large this business starts off. So sometimes you start at home, right? And hi, Inez. Hi, how are you? Thanks for jumping in. Okay. So you start your business at home. So one of the things that I know that we always think about is we're going to start this business. And depending on what kind of business, we need to either get us an office space or, you know, we might need to get a warehouse, or we may need to get a storefront. We may need to get a whole commercial look on the business. Hi, Shant. So that's the first thing that comes to mind, right? So, however, what you want to do is you want to make sure that that is what you need to do on the onset, okay? You want to make sure that's what you need to do. Sometimes you may not need to jump into an office space right away, or you may not need to get a commercial space right away. You may need to get the business off the ground before you do that, okay? But if your business require that you go out and get you a commercial space, or you need an office space, what you want to do, because this is an expense that, you know, you're not thinking, of course. Hi Charles, good, I'm glad you are. This is an expense, of course, that you can regulate, right? You can regulate that expense, because you don't have to get something very expensive. You know, check the location out and make sure that the location is adequate for what you need the business for. And you may not need some fancy conference room. Okay, so so you want to make sure that you determine, right, what your needs are, because your location, your workspace is going to be very costly. It's one of those, what we call a recurring expense every month, right? That's what you got to pay. Some of these recurring expenses, you have to pay them. You have to pay them to stay in business. And if you have an office space, if you have a commercial location, if you have a storefront, you're going to have to pay that rent every month, okay? So keep in mind when you do that, that you want to make sure that you get something that's adequate for your business, nothing that's overexpensive, and nothing that you don't need, and get the right amount of space for what you need it for, okay? All right, so that's one thing that we want to focus on first, because a lot of times to start the business, we got to get a place. So, you know, and if it's retail, a lot of times we need to have a commercial space for people to come into. So if it's retail, we need to, you know, don't get a large store. Just get something small, adequate. That rent is something that you're going to have to put every month. Whether you make sales or not, you're going to have to pay it, right? So you're going to have to pay. So we want to focus on that expense. So hi guys, come on in. I want you guys to hit like and share this video so that we can have a good time. People can get their questions answered. And so we can actually have some very lucrative business operation if you're already in business. So we want to tell you how you can stay in business and how you can focus on these expenses. And then I'll tell you how you can make sure that you stay on top of your expenses. And that's the real focal point today, okay? All right. You're good, Charles? Okay, great. I'm glad you get on here so you can get all your questions answered today, okay? So make sure that you put them in there so you can ask them and I can get to those questions. This is a Q&A, guys. Q&A, your business expenses. These are the most recurring ones. These are like the top 5 expenses, and that's what we're covering today. Again, for those who don't know, Elaine Proby here, CEO, PROBY'S Tax and Accounting. Okay, so you guys good on that? Good on your location space? Good at not jumping into the most expensive location? On that note, I also want to add, if in fact you do decide to get a location for your business to operate, then pay attention to what it takes to run your business out of that location. So some businesses, you may need to get in there and do some kind of improvements. You may need to set everything up so that the business can operate. Be aware of how much money you will put into the space for you to operate, and just do limited amount of stuff so you can operate fully, so you can save on your cash flow until business really picks up. All right, so I just wanted to add that in there. Okay, so any questions on that? Any questions on that? Okay, any questions? I want to make sure I don't miss these questions today. All right, because if I miss them, I'll go back and I'll answer those questions, you guys. So click like and share this video so we can get everyone involved with these you know, much needed information so we can all stay in business. Okay, so the next subject I want to talk about today regarding your expenses that you have to focus on is staffing. So of course we all know that some businesses need more staffing than others. You know, some business you can operate on your own with very little help, and some businesses you need to hire staff right away, depending on if it's some retail outlet, or, you know, say a restaurant. Hi, little Belize. Let's say a restaurant, or, you know, something that needs a staff, okay? So staffing is the next thing on the list as far as expenses that we have to plan for when we start a business. And so I want to tell you guys about staffing. Now, first of all, think about whether or not it's something that you can do with very little help, right? So you want to get, I know it's great to have full staff and everything, but staffing can be very, very expensive, right? If you go to a payroll system, and of course, depending on the type of business, once again, all this stuff depending on your business, you may have to hire employees depending on what type of business it is. and or you could probably use independent contractor to service your business, right? So well, let's say you into construction or something like that, you can hire other independent contractor. Hi, Big Tradie. You can hire independent contractors so you don't have to put them on payroll. So depending on what you're running, you can get people in that does not have to be on payroll, right? They can become independent consultants, they could be independent contractors, and they can still service your business so you can grow and make money. So you want to be aware of payroll, because payroll can be very costly, because one, not only do you have to pay the employees a good salary, you have to pay employer share of payroll taxes, and then you have to pay workers' compensation on that as well. So and then there might be other benefits depending on what type of employees. If you hire employees that are union, there's all kinds of union benefits that you may have to pay. So first of all, you want to evaluate what your needs are. You want to make sure what type of staff you need, right? What type of staff you need, whether you can operate with just independent personnel, people who have their own business, people who can serve you as a consultant, and with payroll taxes and all that other stuff, okay? So guys, two things. Make sure that your workspace is adequate. Make sure you don't go overboard with getting the workspace. If you have to get a commercial space, right? Get something that's just enough for you. I know we all want something grand, and we're having this grand layout of a space, and we're going to have this beautiful conference room. We're going to do all this stuff, and it's not necessary right now, okay? And then make sure that your staff is what you need. Try to get independent consultant if it applies to your business, and then use them because it's less costly, okay? Any questions? Any questions on that? All right. Okay, hey, I'm good. All right. Hey, Tradie, thanks for tuning in, you guys. Okay, you guys, click like on these videos. And once again, like I said, I got a lot of people calling in, and they are inquiring about some of the stuff we talk about here. So obviously, it's great information. People really need it, and it's been very helpful. It's been very helpful to a lot of people. All right, so guys, think back on what I just talked about. First two things that we talked about here was your location, whether the workspace is adequate, whether you need a workspace, and staffing, and making sure that we at least stay on top of those, and those expenses can really get. And of course, you know, we'll talk about how to stay on top of your expenses. All right, so yes, hi Amber, hi Miss Lorna Smith. Thanks for tuning in today. So and remember, guys, put your questions on the board so we can answer those questions. Can I ask a question? Okay, about a 501c3. Yes, Charles, I can answer the question for you. If you want to, you know, whenever you put it up there, I'll see it, and then I'll go ahead and answer that question for you, okay? So go ahead and put it up there. Okay, so all right, so I'm going to get to Charles' question. He has a question that he wants to put on the board, and I'll go ahead and answer that for him. All right, so I am going to move on. Yeah, what are some costs I'll have even if I don't make money? Okay, what are some costs I'm going to have even if I don't make money? Okay, so, all right, so the cost that you're going to have even if you don't make money, right, is now if you don't need a location space, but if you do, of course, you're going to have to pay that rent. Even if you made no money, you got to pay the rent. And this is why I was saying to make sure you have adequate space, not anything elaborate, not anything over the top, because that's how you feel. And if you don't need to get it right now, you can wait. So that cost you will have even if you don't make any money, okay? Staffing, these things we're talking about today is what you will have to pay whether you make money or not. So staffing, so if you hire anyone to assist you in the business, whether you make money or not, you have to pay those people, right? You have to pay them. And if they're on payroll, you have to do the payroll, and then you have to pay the payroll taxes and the workers' compensation insurance and everything else that goes along with employees. So that's some of the things that you will have to pay even if you made no money, okay? Hi, how you doing? Hey, Amber. Okay, so, and then there are obviously a lot more expenses that we're going to touch on in a little while, because all these things that we're talking about are going to be expenses that you must pay whether you make money or not. So you have to budget them in your business budget, and make sure that you can cover these, and how you can, at least I'll tell you what you need to do to make sure that you stay on top of this stuff, okay? So you don't run out of cash. All right, so Charles, what is your question? What is the question here? I have a Let's see. I'm missing it, Charles. I don't really see it. Okay, so Charles have a question over here. Okay, type it in again. Type it in again. I don't see it. It's already rolled up. It already rolled up. Charles, type your question in again and I'll get it, okay? Okay, anything over here? Okay. All right, so Roy Turner, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. Okay. All right, Charles, type your question in again. Okay, so these expenses we're talking about today, guys, for your information, are expenses that, one, you will have to pay even if you make no money in your business, and it calls for a workspace or location you got to pay the rent. If it calls for assistance in workload, whether you have to get staff in, you will have to pay them even if you made no money, because you can't tell the person that's helping you, I can't pay you today or next week or whatever. You can't do that, so you have to have that in the budget, and those are expenses that you have to pay even if you made no money. All right. So this is exciting, you guys. Again, share this video, share this video, share this video. All right. So if I have any more questions, I'll come back to those. But if not, I'm going to move on to the other thing that we are going to have expenses, an expense that we're going to incur, whether we make money or not. Okay. So let's see. I have my learner, Charles. What's it, Charles? I have my determination letter. Okay. Okay. I think, okay, so Charles' question over here is, he said he have a determination letter. I believe that's the determination letter for the 501c3. And what is his next step? I believe that is what it's saying over here. So I think his question has to do with the 501c3, guys, which is a non-profit entity. A non-profit entity, you form a corporation and then you get you get a nonprofit status. So he has a 501c3, so that's what he's talking about. It's just a little dark on this side because, it's bleaky today. I don't know what's going on with the sun. But I'm so used to the bright sun over here. But anyway, so the next step after you get the 501c3, Charles, and you have your nonprofit status in good standing, the next step, of course, when you guys form a nonprofit, is so that you can get funding for a cause, right? So you need cash, you need money. You're not selling anything, so you can't get revenue that way. But what you need is funding for the cause. So once you get your 501c3 status, what you have to do, the next move is to try to get some funding, try to get donation. You can get donation from sometimes private entity, major corporation. Check with your local and state government and see what type of funding they have for the type of program you have, and then you need to start writing grants and so you can get some money into the 501c3. So hopefully that answers your questions. And so donation, grants, and and donation can come from private citizens. It can come from major corporations. So don't write you a nice letter and go and ask for donation. Go to the local banks and wherever and just ask for donation for your cause. Okay, so that's your next step, Charles. Get some money into the 501c3, into your nonprofit, so you can start operating and service the community. Okay, so any other question regarding that, you can hit me up. Call us here at the office, 323-290-9034. You guys, that's PROBY'S Tax and Accounting here in Los Angeles. I'm Elaine Proby, for those people who doesn't know, the CEO of PROBY'S Tax and Accounting. Okay, good. Got that. All right. So, all right, so let's get back to some more costs that your business will have to pay whether you make money or not, okay? And the next thing is inventory. So if you have, let's say you open a retail business or any type of retail business that you have, you're going to have some inventory. You have to have some stuff to sell to the people. And so, of course, you need to stack up an inventory. And there's several things about inventory. It can cost a lot of money if you want to stock, let's say, your store. Let's say you open a beauty supply store, you open a clothing store, any type of store that you open, even a food service, right? And then your inventory is something that you're going to have to spend money on before you start making some money, because you have to stack up so people can come in and buy stuff, right? So the trick to that is how much inventory, how much money you need to spend and stocking up on your inventory. And so this is something that when you first start, it's a little difficult because, of course, you don't have a lot of money to really stock up. And then for those people who are already in business, I want to speak to those people who are already in business, people who haven't to buy inventory for their business, and what you need to do and how you have to do your accounting. See, this whole segment with all these expenses is about your accounting. How you have to do your accounting, which will assist you in stocking up on your inventory, right? So inventory is not going out and spending your last $10,000 and stocking all the shelf with everything in there. You need to know how to budget for your inventory. You may need to spend $7,000 in stocking up for the inventory, and you need to turn that money over so that you can make some sales, and then you can replenish your inventory and you can increase your inventory, right? So if you're working on a small budget, you don't want to, well, I can't open the store because I have nothing in it. You have $10,000, and because we're talking about these recurring expenses, whether you make money or not, which is your rent, which is for your location space, and your personnel, you don't want to spend all the money you have in reserve on stocking up an inventory and then hope to sell that money before the end of the week to meet your payroll, right? So if you don't sell that stuff by the end of the week, you still got to pay the payroll. So what you want to do is make sure that you spend a certain amount of that money. If it's $10,000, say I'm going to take $7,000 and I'm going to stack up on my inventory. And then I'll let you know something else that you're going to have to save some of that money for in a few minutes. And then once you make those sales, you replenish that inventory and you increase, because you know your markup on your inventory is going to allow you to make that money back and then some, and you can increase your inventory. Before you know it, you have a full store of stuff, right? You have a full store with everything in it. But you have to make sure that you budget properly, because once again, you can be completely out of business. You can sit there with a store full of stuff, and because you can't pay the rent, you have to get out. Because you can't pay your employee, they leave. All right. Okay. So any questions over here? Any other questions? Hi, Tamika. Exactly. Okay. Yeah. Right. So any questions, you guys? Remember, question and answer. Hit the like and share this at the bottom of the screen, and then put your questions up there. If I miss it, I'll come back and make sure that we answer it, you guys. Or else you could give us a call at the office at PROBY'S Tax and Accounting, 323-290-9034, and or visit our website at probiztax.com, you guys. And we are here to assist you in any of these business circumstances that you may have. Okay, so right now, what we have covered our space or location, whether you need it, and if you do, how you look for it, and make sure that you stay within budget. Okay, and then personnel, we talked about that. And then, of course, great info on budgeting, right, for inventory, yeah. You know, a lot of people make mistakes on that. A lot of people make mistakes in that. They spend all the money and then they can't pay the rest of the overhead. And I've seen stores open and close with lots of inventory, and then you got to just give it away at cost. Okay, all right, guys. So any more questions? I'll come back to the questions, but I'm going to move on to the next major part of you doing business and becoming very successful at it. And once you set everything up, you know, last week we touched on, you know, getting all your licensing and your business name registered and all that stuff. So now we're into the operational aspect. And of course, we're going to talk about, you know, how you can stay on top of your operational expenses. So let's move on to advertising. People need to know that you exist. People need to know that your business is here. People know that you have a service that you can provide to them. People need to know the stuff, right? So if you have a storefront, you still got to advertise, whether that's signage that you got to put up, you know, whether, you know, it's either a website that you have to put up so people can get on there and find you, you know, but then they need to know this stuff, right? So the next thing that you have to do is advertise. You know, new businesses have a tendency to say, I don't have enough money to advertise. I can't do it. I'm just going to get me a business card and or make a page on, you know, on the internet. But sometimes you need more than just a Facebook page or an Instagram page. You might need to have a website that gives people more information about you and your business. So depending on what you're into, a website is going to be essential, right? And so if you're not able to do that yourself, you will have to pay someone to create a very nice website for you. If you're selling items on there, then of course, it would have to be a website where they can go on and pay and get what they need. You have to spend some money on advertising. So advertising, guys, to your business is like, having an accountant. And I'm gonna tell you why that's important later on, because without it, your business can sink. Okay. And we don't want that to happen. This is how to stay in business, right? So, so get your advertising budget up, okay? And then you can do all of the, the traditional stuff. And trust me, everybody is not online, right? And sometimes we tend to forget that. We tend to forget that everybody's not online. So we don't do the traditional stuff. We don't do flyers anymore. Some people may or may not have a business card. But of course, everybody's not online. Everybody's not going to just be thinking of, I'm going to go to the World Wide Web and type in this information and I'm looking for this type of service, okay? So if you go places and you're networking, all right, and while you're out, if you go to your hair shop, wherever you go, you can have something, maybe a business card. You can have stuff so you can pass it around and, do some traditional advertising stuff. Hi, Brianna. So, so that still works. That still works today. Okay. So you want to cover. So spend some money for advertising. Set some money aside. If you, like I said, if you're starting your business and you have $10,000 to work with, what I said earlier about making sure you don't spend it all on inventory, because you want to spend some on advertising, which will allow you to sell that inventory, right? So you can make that money back, so you can pay the rent and you can pay the employees and you can replenish your supply as far as inventory is concerned, right? Okay, so let's see, great. All right, anything else, you guys? Anything else? Any other question? You guys, any other question out there? Once again, Elaine Proby here, CEO, PROBY'S Tax and Accounting, you guys. Very useful information, and the reason I know is because I'm getting a lot of calls and people are really excited about getting this information and they have more questions, which we like. Give us a call at the office, 323-290-9034. We will be glad to answer those questions for you, okay, and help you out with any other business needs that you have. All right, Ms. Lorna Smith, any questions from you out there? Any other questions, you guys, before I move on to the next step? We covered the location, whether you're going to get a workspace, whether you need one, and if you do, what you should get. All right, we cover staffing. Try to get independent contractors instead of, just hiring employees. They're like, oh, I got to hire, I got a payroll. And they may not be necessary to be on payroll. There's a fine line between that. And, of course, our office can assist you with whether or not you should have an independent person or an employee. We want to make sure you stay straight with that, legally straight, okay? We can help you with that, and then money on advertising. Any questions on that stuff? All right, this is fun. We're having a good time here today, right? How you guys doing? All right, so okay, so I'm gonna move on to the next topic here, which is another part of the expenses. I know I had a question over here earlier. If in fact you, what expenses you have to pay if you made no money, and those are some of the expenses you have to pay if you made no money. Okay. Now, another expense that we should really consider when we start a business, or even if we're already in business. And let's see, I have a question here. Is the advertising what you did when you first started your business, and how did you get your first client? Okay, so I have a question over here. Is advertising what I did and how I got my first client? Okay, guys, so after 35 years, of course, I remember that. So how I got my first client advertised? Well, I mean, word of mouth, of course, is the first way to let people know what you're doing, and so you can start with that. But what I did, I started going to, no, let me back up a little bit. This is 35 years later. So 35 years. So what I did was I actually went to, back then, 35 years ago, everything, there was newspapers. We were reading newspapers for everything. So I went to the fictitious business name statement. There is a listing. What that listing does, it tells you everybody that started a business, whenever you guys filed your fictitious business name, there's a listing that goes up because it has to be published, right? So you go to the newspaper, and I found the published businesses from the fictitious business name list. I found all those published business, and what I did was I sent out a flyer to all those places. Of course, I made a flyer. Like I said, back then it's not like, okay, everything is online. You do traditionally business cards, and you traditionally make you a flyer, and you make a brochure. At that time you have like a 3 pamphlet brochure explaining what your services are, maybe a nice picture of your business or you on there and where they can find you. So you have this beautiful either 3-fold or 2-fold brochure. And what I did was I got that fictitious business name list, and I mailed out my brochure to all those people who started a business, right? So that's one of the things I did. 3 main things to get clients in, and that was the first thing I did. And then of course I started going to business mixers and passing out the brochures and the business cards. And then I also went to SCORES, which is the SBA, and this is a meeting of all of the new people that wants to start a business. So SBA, guys, SBA, they have classes. If you want to start a business and you don't know what to do or how, you can go and take one of these free classes, right? And so I went there because I'm thinking everybody here is going to need my service. At the time, of course, I'm offering bookkeeping and taxes, right? And payroll. So I said that if you're starting a business, you're going to need these things, right? You're going to have them. So I went to SCORE, which is the SBA free meeting for people starting a business. And then I went there and, I made sure that other people there had one of my business cards. Because if you're here to start a business, honey, you're going to need some bookkeeping done. So that's what I did. So, so back to your question over here. Is that what I did? The advertising? Yes. I did the advertising through mailing out brochures to all the people starting their business, through going to the meeting and network, giving them business cards and brochures, and then going to the meetings and then going to SCORE, right? So that's how I did start my business, okay? And here we are 35 years later. So there's some other tricks in the middle that we're gonna discuss at a later date. Okay, so is that any other question? Is that what you did? Yeah. All right, so I got that one. Great job. Okay, great job. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay, share this video. A lot of people can use this information, okay? I want to see us all at the top. We all got to get up there. All right, so I'm going to talk about the next thing on the list, which is super important that you must pay money on. I know a lot of us ignore this, but that is protection, and that's protection through insurance, okay? Insurance. Now, a lot of business operate without proper insurance, right? And there's different type of insurance, of course, but if you're operating a business, make sure that you are covered especially depending on what type of business it is. We should all be covered, whether it's professional liability if you're doing a service, or whether it's general liability if it's someplace that people can come in, so whatever type of insurance that covers you, right? The one thing you don't want to do is, open your doors, something happened, you get a lawsuit of some kind, and then all of a sudden, it puts a financial burden. So insurance is the other thing that is vitally important as an expense to the business, and make sure you have that in your budget, right? And then you have to determine what type of insurance. So if you have employees, you got to pay workers' comp insurance. And that's a part of what I was telling you. If you have a payroll, and try to see if you can use independent people. You don't have to pay workers' comp in those people. But if you have employees, you got to pay workers' compensation insurance. And you may need general liability insurance depending on what you're into. And then you may need professional liability insurance. So, and then of course, back to your workspace, right? Depending on where you're renting from, right? Some of the work location, you have to carry insurance. A lot of the landlords and these leasing companies, they're not going to just really lease you a place without you covering your bases too. So they don't want to be sued either. So you got to have insurance for that as well. Okay, so insurance is a part of your budget that you must be, you must be accountable for, and you have to have it in your plans, whether you make money or not, guys. Okay, so let's go back and cover the things that I said, expenses in your operating your business that are vital and essential, and these are expenses that you should be paying and need to be paying, and you need a budget for. Okay, so I'm gonna start from the top. Let's see, and make sure you put your questions up here. Okay, clever. All right, so do I have to pay taxes if I don't make any money? So everybody, the taxes is the thing about, do I pay taxes if I made no money? Okay, so Your taxes is based on your bottom line. So let me clarify. You know, a lot of people think they don't have to file taxes. Now, your question was, do I have to pay? And people say, well, I made no money, I don't have to file taxes. But people confuse your revenue and your sales with your profit. So you can literally make $100,000, but because you paid out $105,000, and people come to my desk and I says, okay, well, what happened with the business? Well, I made no money. Well, what happened with business? I made no money. What do you mean you made no money? Okay, but I don't have to file taxes because I made no money. Okay, so how did you pay these things? You made some money and you paid it out. You don't have any profit left. Okay, so in answer to your question, Ms. Lorena, if you made no profit, right? You had a loss. You made $100,000. You paid out $105,000. Then, of course, you won't have a tax implication because it is a loss. Okay. If there was a profit, then you pay taxes. But I just want to clarify the make no money part because this is so common, and I think people get a little confused. I made no money. You didn't have a profit, but you made some money and you spend it all, and you got to report it as such. Do I have to pay? Okay. All right. So that answered that question. Any other question, you guys? All right. Okay. All right, so if you had a loss, you don't have to pay any taxes on it because you made no, you know, you don't have a profit to pay taxes on. You pay taxes on your profit. Okay. So, all right, guys. So, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put it under this live. Even if we are off, I'll come back and make sure that I answer those. And once again, it all has to do with some of these expenses that you have to pay whether you make money or not if you're operating a business. And the whole idea is making sure that you budget properly so you can really stay on top of your cash flow so you can build the business and so you can really make a lot of money. You can scale your business, right? If I don't make any money. Okay, I got that one. All right, so you can really scale the business. So now let's get down to the key way of how we stay on top of these expenses. And then we can talk about, you know, how we can maybe scale back if necessary, okay? So today's topic with these expenses all rolls back into proper accounting. Accounting, key thing, right? Can you recap the expenses one more time? Okay. All right, so let's recap the expenses one more time, okay? So you're starting a business and or you're already operating a business. These are the 5 key expenses that we need to make sure that we have we pay whether we have money for it or not. And so the first thing is your workspace. Your workspace, if you have a workspace, so you're not working at home and you have a workspace, a commercial location, an office space, whatever that is, you have to pay your rent or they will close the doors, right? So your workspace, you have to pay whether you make money. Staffing. If you have anybody assisting you with this process, whether it's an employee or whether it's an independent contractor, whether it's an independent consultant, staffing, you have to pay your staffing even if you make no money. And I talked about how you can save on staffing by hiring independent personnel if it's your business allow for that, as opposed to employees which can incur additional expenses besides the salary. Okay, so staffing, your workspace, your staffing. Talk about advertising. People have to know what it is that you have to offer. Here, people have to know what you have, whether it's a service you have to offer, whether it's a goods that you're selling, retail, you know, people have to know where you are and they have to know what you're offering. Okay, so you have to advertise. And I suggest that you do some of the old-fashioned way of advertising, like I said earlier, make you some brochures and flyers and stuff like that, because there are places you can go and those still becomes a valid way of advertising to people. Okay. And then the other part that we talked about is insurance, making sure that you're fully insured, make sure that you're fully covered, making sure that there's no other liability that's going to come back on you, professional liability, guys, or workers' compensation if you have employees, general liability to cover your workspace if somebody comes and get hurt or something happens to them while they're in your place. And so you have to make sure that you have the proper coverage. Of course, your insurance agent can assist you with this. Make sure you have the proper coverage for what it is that you're doing, okay? So did we cover that? Insurance, your staffing, workspace, and your inventory. That was the other thing, the inventory. If you are in retail, Inventory, and like I said, there's a trick to the inventory. You have to know how to budget for your inventory and how to turn over your inventory so you can increase your revenue and your business can thrive, okay? Your cash flow works. But there's, there's a way you have to do that. All right, so did we cover that? So we can move on, you guys, okay? Thank you guys for jumping in here. I love it. So you guys click like and share this video. Click like and share this video. Elaine Proby here from PROBY'S Tax and Accounting, you guys. And, my key thing here is to make sure that once again, you start your business. If you're already in business, how you can stay in business, how you can be successful at it. Like I said, someone asked me earlier how I started advertising when I started my business 35 years ago, 35 years later. We're still here standing. And one of the things that last week I forgot to mention is that we do have a payroll department as well at PROBY'S Tax and Accounting. So we have the accounting service, we have payroll department as well. Then of course all the taxes for personal business, nonprofit, we do it all, and business consultation, small business solution. And later on I'll give you guys a trick of how all these departments came about when I started this business 35 years ago, okay? So first thing is, let's get our business off the ground, let's get our cash flow going, and then let's stay in business, okay? So we can leverage what we got going on and make some money. Okay, I want to make sure I'm not missing any question. Hi, Rainish, thanks for jumping on, okay. All right, so let's talk about how you're going to make sure you stay on top of your cash flow with these expenses that you're going to incur, whether you make money or not, okay? And the key to that is proper accounting, proper records, you guys, proper records. When I first started my business, one of the things that I would sell to the clients is that, proper bookkeeping will save you taxes. It will save you money, okay? So if you don't know how much you're spending on these expenses, if you don't know how much money you're spending every month on your inventory, every month on the insurance, every month on the rent, and if you're not tracking that stuff, even though some of the stuff is recurring, there are ways for you to make sure that you save money on that stuff. And the only way to do that is have proper accounting. So what happens is you have to account for all your income and you have to account for all your expenses. Account for everything goes out. We talked about the main expenses a minute ago, but then you have these other expenses that pops up, and then you have you have other things that comes around in the business that you're not even prepared for, right? However, if you're not doing proper accounting and see where the money is going every time it comes in, it's going out, but you have to track where it's going. An easy way to do that is like some business people, some of us goes out and we spend cash on certain things, or we buy certain things for the business, or we go to the Office Depot and the office supply store, and before we know, we done picked up cases of paper, we done picked up ink for the printer, we did all this stuff, and then we wind up at the office and we have spent a few $100s out of pocket. It's not accounted for. The business look like they're doing a wonderful job saving on office supplies, but they didn't count the $500 that came out of your pocket that you just picked up a few things at Costco's or someplace, right? So proper accounting. And proper accounting is whether, of course, the rule of thumb is to have a business account and put all your money in there and pay all your expenses, okay? But we don't always follow the rule. So if you, for some reason, didn't follow the rule, make sure that you bring back all your receipt. Make sure that whatever expenses that you did out of pocket, or if you're an employee, anything that you spend for the company out of pocket, hi Joan, make sure that you bring those receipts so properly accounting for that stuff. Because if you look at your financial statement, which is your income and your expenses every month, and once again, like it says, I spent $1,000 in supplies, right? But an employee or someone else spent another $200 or $300 that never made it to the books and records. You literally spent $1,300 and you don't know. Okay? You cannot make good, sound financial decisions. You cannot determine whether or not you need to save on some of these expenses because you don't know how much you're really spending. Okay? And then you may pay taxes unnecessary on profit that it looks like you make because all your expenses is not in the books, right? So if you have $5,000 profit at the end of the month and it's supposed to be $3,000, and then at the end of the year you're paying taxes on monies that you really didn't make, okay? So proper accounting will assist you in making sure that you are putting your money, of course, in the right places, okay? Make sure you're spending money where it needs to be spent. Make sure it saves you on taxes. You can make good, sound financial decisions where you need to cut back, where you need to add, how you need to allocate. Maybe you need to put more money in advertising. Maybe you can now increase your inventory because now you have enough money because you cut back someplace else, right? So guys, there is a reason. There's a reason why accounting principles are in place for your business structure. And whether you are independent or sole proprietor, any business structure you're running in, make sure that you account for income and expenses. It will help you all the way around, okay? I feel like I'm just going on and on. And you guys have any questions? This is so exciting. Hi, Indira. You guys, hi, Keith. Hi, Keith. Hi, Joe. And you guys have any questions? What you first start your business? Okay, I answer that question. Any more questions? You guys are enjoying this? You guys are having a good time? You guys getting good information? Again, if you need further explanation of any of this stuff, okay, call us here, PROBY'S Tax and Accounting, 323-290-9034, or visit us at probyststax.com. We can assist you, of course. We can assist you with any of these business stuff you needed, payroll, accounting, taxes, business services. We have a question over here. Know your numbers right, like Shark Tank. Right. Somebody said know your numbers right, like Shark Tank, right? I don't know if any of you guys saw that show, but the thing about it is when you come in or when you come to my desk to do your taxes, and if you don't you say I ran a business, and you don't have any accounting stuff, you don't even know what you spend on certain things, you're sitting there thinking, I have no money and I don't know what happened. So, like I said, Shark Tank, you have to know your numbers. You need to know your numbers. You need to know how much you spend on these things, you guys. You can't run a business. And I always say, driving in the dark. I call it driving in the dark. You don't know anything, okay? You don't know how much you spend anything. All you know is the bank account is going up and it's going down, and one day it's going to be down and you won't know why. Okay, so yeah, know your numbers right. All right, and to know your numbers, you have to do proper accounting for that to happen, okay? So you guys, I hope this information has been very helpful. If you have any questions on accounting systems, some of you are in a place where if the business just started and it's small enough, you can keep track of this stuff yourself. But make sure you're on top of it, because some people like to put that on the back burner. And I've spoken to a few clients just this week. And once again, they don't know how their business is doing, and they've operated for a couple of years. For the last 2 years, they have no accounting, and so and of course, not filing any taxes. So the one thing we don't want to do is pay unnecessary taxes on profit we did not make. Okay, that's the key. That money you're gonna need to grow your business, so you can scale your business, so you can become more profitable, more successful, and that's the whole reason you went into business in the first place, right? Okay, so is that it, you guys? Are you guys good with that? Anything else? We got that covered. All right, yeah, I think I got all you guys' questions today. Okay, so this is a lot of fun. If you have anything else, again, call us or put it on here. I'm going to come back to this live and check them out, and then I will answer those questions. But I'm really, really excited. Like I said, a lot of people are using this information, and a lot of people are calling in and asking more questions. And of course, again, we're here to assist you with whatever it is that you need to do. We want to see your business grow. We want to see you stay in business. And, because part of our motto is your success is our business, okay? Do I need accounting for filing taxes as a business? Okay, yeah, you need to do some accounting before you file your taxes, okay? Because your information, your income and expense goes in the tax return. Okay, so if you come to me to do your taxes and I don't have any numbers, I don't know what you made, I don't know what you spent or what you spend it on. So yes, you have to do some form of accounting, some form of bookkeeping, and some people would maybe just do a spreadsheet, but you want to get accustomed to using an accounting system, because the whole idea of going in business, once again, I keep saying this, is to make your business grow, and you want to make as much money as possible. So if you treat your business like, oh, this is a small business, I'm only making $5,000 or $10,000 or making $50,000, and you're just going to operate that way, that is not the whole picture that you have in your head. You want to make a lot of money. So you want to get used to doing a good accounting system, tracking your income and expenses, and so that this way you already have your system in place. Your tracking system is already in place. So if your revenue grows 50,000, 250,000, you grow into the millions of dollars, it's the same system that you're using, okay? So yes, you need to have an accountant before you file your taxes. So that way your bottom line can be accurate and you don't pay taxes unnecessary. Very, very, very important, okay? So guys, is that it today? I think this is exciting. This is great. We'll be back with some other vital information for you. Share this again. Like I said, share this video. A lot of people can use it. And I want to make sure that you guys stay on point, stay in business. And, 35 years later, I'm here to share some of these secrets with you guys. We're going to have some other stuff that's going to come out and tell you some of the things that we did along the way. And the reason why PROBY'S Tax and Accounting has several departments, and then I can tell you how that happened and how it grew, from actually when I started the business in the garage. Some people know that story. Okay, so we'll share that story with you guys soon. All right, so I think that's it. I think I've covered it all, you guys. I hope this helps. Okay, I want to make sure I don't miss anything over here. Okay, I don't think I missed anything. I think I got you all. Thank you guys for tuning in. Proper accounting, make sure you do your accounting. At PROBY'S Tax, we have an accounting department, tax department, you got a payroll department, small business solution, business consultation, and we can help you structure your business and make sure you're running in the right, business structure as well. So anyway, give us a call. Check us out, probyststax.com, get on our website. And if you need to get your taxes done, tax deadline, July 15th, upload your info out of secure portal, and we'll be able to help you with that as well, okay? So I think with that, I am out of here. I'll see you guys next week. I think I covered it all. Thank you guys for coming in. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and have a wonderful day, you guys. Stay safe, follow instruction, stay focused, stay informed, and we'll be back. All right, see y'all later. All right, I think that's it.